Hey guys, wanted to give you a review today on these Cobra Grips. It's a really nifty item. It's a combination of a wrist strap guard, lifting strap, and a hand protector, basically a replacement for your gloves. I had recently been using gloves all along. Developed some tendonitis in my elbow not long ago, and I needed to take some of that strain off of my forearm, the lateral epicondyle, when I was doing a lot of my pulling, deadlifts, shrug type motions. I went with the usual straps, which I've used in the past, and they worked fairly well. They kind of unravel a little bit, and you have to readjust your grip and take a lot of measures to make sure that it's on nice and tight. But for the most part, lifting straps work fairly well. But what I kept finding was after the lifts or after a session of lifting, I would get these pretty visible red marks, just so much pressure onto the wrists. In place of that, I've also tried some lifting hooks, which are similar to this, but it would have a metal hook looking like this. And that also worked very well in terms of the actual lift. You can't really secure your hand around the weight very well when you're using the hook, only because the hook is kind of wide, and at most you're just kind of tipping it with your fingers. That particular hook strap that I was using, unfortunately, was also leaving not only red marks on my wrist, but a pretty visible, somewhat tender bruising. And that was a result of the strap that they were using underneath their metal ring. It had very insufficient padding, and so every time I would tighten it and do a nice heavy lift, I would just have that metal ring ramming into this portion of my wrist and ultimately leaving me with a bruise. So onto the Cobra Grip. It's extremely durable, very well made product, double stitching all throughout, a very heavy grade rubber that doesn't look like it's going to be wearing very much, at least over time. It has some nice neoprene padding in all the areas where you're contacting your wrist, especially where the ring is being pulled upon. You're not going to get that type of pressure on your wrist, so that the neoprene doesn't necessarily encircle the entirety of your wrist, but I think it does a good enough job so that you're not going to have any pressure. In terms of how it's used, it's a very nice replacement for a wrist strap. Gives you very good security around the wrist. If you're doing just a simple lift, then it's going to function pretty much the way a glove would. It's going to protect your palms and parts of your fingers where you would normally get calloused and feel like you're not having enough protection. So it's a really nice product. This, as opposed to a regular strap, it has a thickened lip at the end, and I think that functions very nicely when you're doing your pulling motions. You place the rubber in front of the bar, you secure it around, somewhat similar to the way you would use a lifting strap, and then you just roll it in a bit so that you're getting a nice secure feel. That thickened portion is going to kind of lock onto your palm, and then you have very secure and much easier way of lifting that weight without pressurizing your wrist. You're not depending as much on your grip, and then definitely taking some pressure off your forearm. So I hope to do a review in the future on this great product. For now, I think this is going to be fulfilling my needs much better than some of the other items I've used. Have some great workouts, guys. Take care.